They told me the man who murdered my husband would never dare show his face at the funeral. They were wrong. He arrived late, when the church was already thick with perfume and hypocrisy. Dressed in black silk and sins, watching me with the calm of a predator who already owned the room. Owned the world. Owned me before I even knew his name. I should have screamed. I should have run. Instead, when his gloved hand brushed mine as he offered condolences for the death he caused, I became the widow who couldn't breathe without wanting the man who destroyed her life. Chapter 1. The Funeral. Isabella. Grief is supposed to be loud. People wail, collapse, tear at their clothes and beg God to explain. At least, that's how it looks in the movies. In real life, grief is quieter. It sits behind your ribs like a stone and waits. It watches you smile for the people who come to stare, and it weighs you down until breathing feels like lifting something heavy. I sit in the front pew of street, Michael's hands folded on my lap like a well-trained doll, and try not to think about how light I feel. It's wrong. It's ugly. It's honest. The coffin at the front of the church is closed, thank God. There wasn't enough of my husband left to make an open casket tolerable. The explosion saw to that. The papers called it a tragic accident on a private airstrip. The whispers in the back rows say something else. Retaliation. Message. War. I smooth an imaginary wrinkle from my black silk dress. My fingers are steady. My heart isn't. Not because I miss Marco. Because I know whoever planted that bomb didn't just want him dead. They wanted everyone to know he could bleed. To my right, my mother-in-law dabs at her eyes with a lace handkerchief, mascara pooling under her lashes. To my left, a line of men in dark suits press their shoulders together like a wall. Marco's business associates, politicians, friends from old money families who pretend their money doesn't carry a faint metallic scent. Behind us, the church is full, not with mourners, with watchers. They've all come to see the fall of the Vescari golden boy, the hedge fund billionaire, the clean-scrubbed face of old money and new power. Marco Vescari, my husband, my jailer. "Chin up, Cara," his mother whispers in Italian. "You're being watched." I already know. I can feel eyes on me from every direction. Measuring, weighing, judging. Is the widow appropriately broken? Does she cry enough, but not too much? Does she look grateful for the condolences, but devastated by the loss? Do they suspect that my tears when they finally came last night weren't for Marco at all? The priest's voice drones in Latin, rain pattering against stained glass. I let the sound wash over me. I don't listen. I'm too busy counting. 1, 2, 3. On 3, I inhale. On 6, I exhale. It's the only way to keep from laughing. I don't laugh because there's nothing funny about any of this. I laugh because 3 nights ago, my husband wrapped his hand around my wrist hard enough to bruise and told me if I ever embarrassed him in public again, he'd make sure I disappeared so cleanly my own father wouldn't remember my name. His hand isn't going to touch anyone now. God forgive me. The thought tastes like relief, and we commend our brother Marco into your hands. The priest intones, "Brother," as if Marco ever belonged to anyone but himself. A murmur rolls through the church as people rise. I stand with them, knees stiff, a wave of perfume and expensive cologne surging up as silk and wool shift. The air feels thick, heavy. I stare at the coffin and will myself to feel something other than this strange, floating numbness. "He loved you very much," Marco's mother whispers, squeezing my hand. I don't answer. She doesn't want truth. No one here does. The final prayer ends. People cross themselves, heads bowing. The organ sings a low, mournful note as the pallbearers move into position. I watch them lift the coffin, muscles flexing under dark suits. Not one of them cries. The doors at the back of the church open, and that's when I feel it. A shift, like the air has suddenly become aware of itself. I don't see him at first. I feel him. A prickle along the back of my neck. the way the murmur in the pews falters for a heartbeat. A pause in the priest's rhythm. Then I hear the tap of Italian leather on stone. He walks down the central aisle unhurriedly, as if he owns the right to interrupt death itself. Black suit, black shirt, no tie. The fabric fits his body like it was tailored with a knife. Sharp, lean lines over a frame built of strength and control. Dark hair, cut close at the sides, a little longer on top, styled with the kind of careless precision that takes time. I've always hated how beautiful, dangerous men can be. He's maybe mid-30s. Olive skin, strong jaw roughened by the hint of a razor shadow, hands gloved in black leather despite the warmth of the church. But it's his eyes that make my lungs forget their purpose. They're not warm, not cold, just focused. They sweep the room once, taking everything in, then land on me. The impact is physical. My fingers tighten against the pew, nails digging into polished wood. His gaze lingers, unhurried, like he's reading something directly from beneath my skin. Nobody stops him. That tells me more than anything else. If he were no one, an intruder, security would already be on him. If he were just an ordinary businessman, someone would lean over and whisper, "Ask who he is." Instead, the men in suits avert their eyes. The women pretend not to look while stealing glances from behind veils and sunglasses. No one speaks his name, but everyone knows it. He's not family. Not one of Marco's Wall Street friends. Not a politician. That leaves only one category. Mafia. My stomach knots. He doesn't sit. He stands in the back, in the last pool of shadow, before the sunlight from the doors fades into the body of the church. His stance is relaxed, hands clasped loosely in front of him, but there's nothing soft about him. He looks like a man who's ordered killings before breakfast and closed deals over the bodies. Our eyes meet again. It's ridiculous. I don't even know him, but something in my chest stutters. There is no curiosity in his gaze, only recognition, as if we've already met in another life, on another battlefield I never saw. The priest says something about ashes and dust. The pallbearers begin to move. People turn toward the aisle. They have to brush past him to follow the coffin out. No one bumps him. He steps aside for Marco's mother, for mine, for the senators and CEOs and board members. When my turn comes, he doesn't move. He just watches. I stop. I don't mean to. My body reacts on its own. Up close, he's even more unsettling. There's a scar just below his left cheekbone, a small, pale line that would be easy to miss if you weren't staring at his face like you've forgotten how to breathe. "Signora Vascari," he says softly. His voice is low, dark velvet over steel, the faintest trace of an accent Italian smoothed over by years in American boardrooms. My name in his mouth feels like something he shouldn't be allowed to say. "I'm sorry for your loss." "Okay." His gloved hand lifts, palm open. There is no reason to take it. There are 1,000 reasons not to. I place my fingers in his anyway. Warmth bleeds through the leather. His grip is firm, but not crushing. Fingers long, steady. For one strange, suspended second, the rest of the church falls away. The weight on my chest eases, just enough for me to drag in a shaky breath. "Thank you." I manage. His eyes search my face. Not in the leering way I've grown used to from Marco's colleagues. There's no pity, either. Just assessment. "You're stronger than they think," he says quietly, so low I'm not sure I was meant to hear it. Before I can respond, my brother-in-law appears at my elbow, jaw tight. "Isabella," he says sharply. "We're going now." The man in black releases my hand, gaze flicking to my brother-in-law for a fraction of a second. Whatever he sees there makes his mouth curve barely, a whisper of a smile that never reaches his eyes. "Of course," he murmurs. "We'll talk soon." "We?" My heart stumbles. My brother-in-law bristles. "Do I know you?" "Yes," the stranger says calmly. "You do." He steps aside, making room. I let myself be pulled away. not daring to look back until I reach the threshold of the church. When I do, he's still there, standing exactly where I left him, hands folded, eyes on me, watching as they carry the coffin of the man he killed out into the rain.
Damien, I've always found funerals useful. People lose their masks in grief, or at least the masks crack. You can learn a lot from the way someone holds their shoulders when they think the world is ending, from how they breathe, from whether they reach for a drink, a hand, a fight, or a weapon. Marco always talked too much about control. Control the market, control the narrative, control the opposition. He lost control of his car the first time he drove drunk. A girl died in that crash. Her name never made the papers. He lost control of his temper when his wife spoke to a waiter with too much warmth at a charity gala. I watched him grab her wrist under the table so hard her wine glass shook. He never lost control of his image. Until the bomb. Now he's a photograph on expensive cardstock in an overpriced coffin headed to a family mausoleum. And I'm standing in the back of his funeral watching his widow pretend she lost her heart with him. She didn't. I know this because I've been watching her longer than I care to admit. The first time I saw Isabella Viscari, it was through the tinted glass of my car 3 years ago. She was leaving a gallery opening on his arm, wearing gold silk and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Marco talked with his hands. She kept one hand on his forearm, like she was calming a dog. I asked my driver who she was. "That's the new wife," he said. "They say she's a lucky girl." She didn't look lucky. Today, she doesn't look broken, either. She looks untethered, like someone who's been carrying a weight for so long that when it's finally gone, she doesn't know how to stand without it. When our hands touched just now, I felt the tremor running under her skin. Not the wild, fractured tremble of someone whose world just ended. The quiet shock of someone whose world has just been rearranged. "She's stronger than they think," I say under my breath as she walks away. My consigliere, Luca, shifts at my side. "She shouldn't be your concern." "Everything is my concern," I remind him. He lowers his voice. "Her husband is dead. You got what you needed, Damien. The port contracts are in play. The senator lost his shield. This is done." I watch Isabella move down the aisle. Elegant, controlled, too pale against the black sea of mourners. "It's not done," I say. Luca exhales. "It will be, if you stop looking at her like that." Speak. "Like what?" "Like she's not the widow of a man you ordered killed." I smile slightly. "Technically, I ordered the plane destroyed. His presence on it was a happy coincidence." Luca glares. "You're not funny." "I am, sometimes. Just never with him." He scrubs a hand over his jaw. "The Bratva already think we're behind the explosion. If they find out you've got any attachment to his widow, it gives them leverage." "I don't have an attachment," I say. He gives me a look. I ignore it. Attachment implies vulnerability, weakness. I don't do weaknesses. I do assets. And Isabella Viscari, whether she realizes it yet or not, is an asset. Her husband's portfolio is a labyrinth of shell corporations and hidden accounts scattered across 3 continents. He laundered money for my enemies and hid favors for politicians who wear their morals like cufflinks, easily polished, easily replaced. When I started pulling on loose threads in his companies, I didn't expect to find her in the middle of his web. Legally, she inherits more than anyone realizes. Emotionally, I've never particularly cared about a stranger's emotions. Especially not a stranger married to a man who's been a thorn in my side since we were barely old enough to shave. But the night my men sent me the footage of what happened in that private villa in the Hamptons, something shifted. Grainy, black and white. No audio. Security cameras I shouldn't have had access to, but did. Marco's hand wrapped around his wife's throat, her back against a wall. Her lips parted not in pleasure, in shock, in pain. I watched it once, twice, 3 times. I don't like the feeling that rose in my chest. I tracked Marco's car after that. His phone, his accounts, his temper. He became more erratic, more aggressive, more careless. Careless men die in my world. I just made sure he died at a time and place that worked for me. The coffin disappears through the church doors. A gust of rain-chilled air sweeps through the nave, lifting the edge of Isabella's black veil. Her profile is perfect. Straight nose, full mouth. Big eyes too dark to read from here. I have read every line of her life on paper. Birth certificate, school records, marriage license. On paper, she is nothing but another society wife. In person, she is a question I don't yet know how to answer. Luca clears his throat. You should go. Soon. Now, he insists. Before someone notices you're here. They already noticed, I say. That's the point. He mutters a curse in Italian. You want them to know you attended the funeral of a man you had killed? Yes. Why? Because fear is more effective when it has a face. He stares at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. I don't feel like myself watching her walk out of the church. I feel restless. It's not wanting. Or not only that. Wanting is simple, primitive, easily satisfied with the right body in the right bed. This is something more unpleasant. A kind of irritation. She shouldn't be my problem. But she is. Because the moment Marco's heart stopped, every debt he ever owed came due. Some of those debts belong to me, and some of them belong to her. We'll talk soon, I'd said. I don't make idle promises.
Isabella. The rain is relentless. It drums on the roof of the limousine, streaks down the tinted glass, soaks the black umbrellas that scatter across the cemetery like dark flowers. People huddle under them, whispering, glancing at me out of the corners of their eyes. I stand under no umbrella. I stand at the edge of the open grave, rain soaking my veil, dripping under my collar, sliding down my spine. The cold feels good, real. They can see you, my mother-in-law hisses, clutching her umbrella tighter. You'll get sick. I'm fine, I say. I'm not. But not for the reason she thinks. The priest says another blessing. The coffin lowers with a mechanical whine. Earth waits below, dark and hungry. I wait to feel something. Hatred, relief, grief, closure. All I feel is watched. Not by God, by him. I don't have to turn around to know he's here. I feel him like I would feel a storm. A pressure change in the air. A weight between my shoulder blades. The tiny hairs on the back of my neck stand up. When the last clump of earth lands on the coffin, people begin to drift away, murmuring condolences. My mother-in-law wails into her handkerchief, supported by a cousin. My own father stands in his neatly pressed suit, talking softly to a senator, eyes dry. Isabella, he says eventually, touching my arm. We should go. Go, I say. I'll follow. He hesitates, then nods, already turning away. When we are finally alone, the grave, the rain, and me, I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Standing in the rain won't bring him back, a voice says behind me. I don't jump. I turn. He stands a few yards away, umbrella tilted over his shoulder, suit probably worth more than my car still immaculate. Up close, without a church between us, he looks even more dangerous. His gaze travels over my face, my soaked veil, my bare hands. Every inch he takes in feels like a touch. It might wash some things away, I say. Like what? Regret. Do you regret him dying? He asks. The question is so blunt, I flinch. My lips part. I don't know you. He closes the distance by one slow step. No, he agrees. You don't. Then why are you talking to me? Because no one else here is saying what they're thinking. And you are? Yes. I narrow my eyes. And what exactly are they thinking? His mouth curves just a hint. That your husband made a lot of enemies, he says. That whoever killed him did the city a favor. That it's a shame such a pretty widow is now on the market. Heat flashes under my skin. Anger, humiliation, recognition. Is that what you're thinking? I ask tightly. No, he says. What? Then? He studies me for a long moment. I'm thinking, he says softly, that you don't seem nearly as sad as you should be. The ground drops away beneath me. I take a step back. My heel slips in the wet grass. The world tilts. He moves. His hand closes around my wrist, steadying me before I can fall backward into the mud. We freeze. His glove presses against my pulse. My heart slams against it. For one stupid, reckless second, I imagine ripping the leather away and feeling his skin instead. Then I remember who I am, what I am. Guilty. Widow. Asset. I jerk my hand back. You're out of line. Am I? He asks, unbothered. Yes. You should go. Eggs glows. I will, he says. Soon. Now. He tilts his head, rain sliding off the edge of his umbrella. You don't even know my name. I don't want to. Liar. My cheeks heat. Excuse me? You're curious, he says calmly. About me. About why I'm here. About why no one stopped me from coming. I hate that he's right. I hate that he can see it. I don't care. I lie. His gaze flicks over my face, pausing on my mouth. Then humor me, he says. My name is Damien Moretti. No, Tull. The name hits like a slap. Of course I know it. Everyone in our world does. The Moretti family built their fortune on shipping, real estate, and 100 other legitimate fronts that hide what everyone whispers. Mafia, old blood. New tricks, very dangerous men. My mouth goes dry. Why are you here, Mr. Moretti? He smiles without showing teeth. To pay my respects, he says. You didn't know my husband. I knew the man he pretended to be, Damien says. That's enough. 1 to 2. My chest tightens. And what man was that? The kind, he says quietly, who makes a mess and assumes someone else will clean it up. And you? I ask. Are you the cleaner or the mess? His eyes glint. Depends who you ask. I wrap my arms around myself, suddenly cold. What do you want from me? He doesn't answer right away. Rain beads on his umbrella, along the sharp line of his jaw. When he does speak, his voice is lower, more intimate. Your attention, he says. For now, it is today. I swallow. And after, for now, I whisper. His gaze darkens. We'll talk about after later. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out a slim black card, and holds it out. I stare at it. I'm not interested, I say. You will be, he replies. Something in his tone quiet, assured, not arrogant, just certain, makes my skin prickle. I take the card because not taking it would be a statement I'm not ready to make. His gloved fingers brush mine again. A spark shoots up my arm. Ridiculous and real. If you need anything, he says, call me. I won't. We'll see. He steps back, folds the umbrella more firmly over his shoulder, and turns away. My voice comes out before I can swallow it. Why me? I ask. Why do you care? He pauses. Looks back over his shoulder. Rain blurs the space between us, turning him into something almost unreal. Because the man in that grave owed me more than money, he says softly. And you're what he left behind that's worth anything. The words should make me feel owned. They don't. They make me feel seen. And that might be even more dangerous. Damien gives me a final, long look. Then he walks away, leaving muddy footprints on sacred ground and a widow whose world just tilted on its axis. I look down at the card in my hand. Black. Minimalist. Heavy stock. One name. One number. Damien Moretti. I should tear it up. Instead, I slide it into my clutch with careful, trembling fingers. I tell myself I keep it in case of emergencies. I tell myself I'll never use it. I tell myself a lot of things. Most of them are lies. Chapter 2. The Contract of Protection. Isabella. The rain follows me home like a curse. By the time the limousine reaches our penthouse, the city lights smear into gold and gray through the fogged window. I wipe a tear I didn't realize was falling. Not grief. Not really. More like pressure. The pressure of a performance I didn't audition for. The elevator ride is silent. Too silent. I half expect Marco to be waiting when the doors open, arms crossed, voice cold as ice. You embarrassed me again, Isabella. But the penthouse is still. Empty. Dead. Like him. I step inside, heels clicking against marble. The portraits Marco insisted on hanging glare down at me, his father, his grandfather, men with stone faces and colder hearts. I walk past them. I go to the kitchen. Turn on the lights. Breathe. Then I pull the black card from my clutch. Damien Moretti. One phone number. Nothing else. I flip it over. Blank. Of course it is. Men like him don't need titles. Their names are enough. I should throw it away. Instead, I set it on the counter like an omen and pour myself a glass of wine. My hands tremble just enough to shame me. Why did he come to the funeral? Why speak to me? Why did his voice sound like it was cutting straight through the ribs I've spent years barricading? I take a sip, close my eyes, and jump as the door buzzer rings. My heart slams against my ribs. No one should be visiting. Not tonight. I move slowly to the screen beside the door and press the button. The security camera shows a tall figure in a dark coat, holding an umbrella, rain streaming off the brim. My breath stops. He looks up into the camera. Damien. What? How? I fumble with the intercom. What are you doing here? His voice pours through the speaker, low and velvet dark. Let me in. No, I whisper. No, Mr. Moretti, I don't understand why. Unlock the door, Isabella. My name again. Too intimate. Too confident. As if he has every right to say it. I swallow hard. You shouldn't be here. You're alone, he says. And I don't like the way that feels. My pulse stutters. You don't even know me. A pause. Then, very softly, I know enough. I don't remember hitting the unlock button. My body decides before my mind does. The elevator hums. I stand frozen as the doors open. He steps out like he belongs here. Raindrops gleam on his coat. His hair is damp, slightly disheveled, a look that should have made him human. But on him, it only makes him more dangerous. His gaze sweeps the penthouse once, assessing it like a territory he might need to defend. Then his eyes land on me. You let me in, he says. I take a step back. I didn't. You did. He closes the door behind him. And I'm here because you're not safe. I laugh. Too sharp. Safe from what? My dead husband? His expression doesn't change. From his debts, his enemies, his mistakes. My throat tightens. How do you know about his? He walks past me, uninvited, shedding his coat and draping it on a chair like he's done it 100 times. Because I spent the last 8 months cleaning them up. My grip on the wineglass falters. Why would you do that? He meets my eyes. Because your husband was sloppy, he says. And sloppy men in our world get killed. We're just. The world tilts. Your world. He inclines his head. Yes. And what does that have to do with me? That's when he walks toward me. Slowly. Purposefully. Like a decision. I back up until my spine meets the marble countertop. He stops inches away. His voice lowers to something lethal and intimate. Everything Marco owned is being claimed by his enemies, he says. His money, his holdings, his alliances, his debts. Isno, he lifts one gloved hand and traces a line down the counter beside my hip. And unfortunately for you, he murmurs, that includes you. Ice floods my veins. I'm not some asset. That's where you're wrong. He leans in slightly, his presence a wall of heat and cold at once. You are the most valuable thing he left behind, Isabella. The Bratva wants you. The men he crossed want you. Even some of his former partners have intentions. My stomach twists. Intentions? He looks down at me, slow, devastating. You're beautiful, he says. Grief suits you far too well. And a widow without protection in this world. His jaw flexes. Is prey. A shiver crawls up my spine. His hand lifts, not touching me, just hovering over my cheek. My skin tingles beneath the ghost of it. I won't let them touch you. The promise steals the breath from my lungs. Why? Why would you care? His eyes darken. Because Marco owed me, he says, and I always collect. The implication slams into me. I don't owe you anything. A quiet, dangerous smile curves his mouth. No, he says. Not yet. My pulse stutters. But you will. He moves past me, unbuttoning his gloves with slow, deliberate motions. The sound of leather sliding against skin sends something hot and panicked through my body. Sit, he orders softly. It's not a bark. Not dominance. Just absolute certainty I'll obey. Against my better judgment, I sit. He takes the seat across from me, elbows resting on his knees, hands clasped loosely. Rain drips from the ends of his hair. You're being targeted, he says calmly. I intercepted 4 messages today alone, all from people wanting to know if Marco's wife is available. I swallow hard. For what? His eyes sweep me. The air thickens. Use your imagination. Heat rushes to my cheeks. Shame. Fear. Something darker. I don't believe you, I whisper. You should. He leans back, stretching out, commanding space like a throne, which is why you're going to sign a contract. I stiffen. A contract? Yes. He takes a folded document from his coat. A contract of protection. You wanna... what? Be my bodyguard? His gaze drops to my mouth. Slowly rises again. No, he murmurs. I want you under my roof. My breath stops. Absolutely not. You don't understand, he says softly. Your husband's enemies won't wait. They'll come for you within days. Hours, if we're unlucky. He pushes the paper toward me. I don't touch it. What is this? I ask. A legal arrangement, he says. You move into the Moretti estate for 90 days. I keep you alive. In return, you allow me access to your husband's files and holdings. So I am an asset, I whisper. Yes, he says without apology, but I'm offering you safety in exchange. And if I say no, he stands, tall, shadowed, impossible to ignore. Then someone else will claim you, he says simply, and they won't be kind. My heart slams. You're threatening me. No. He steps closer. I'm warning you. What makes you think I trust you? I breathe. He leans down, mouth near my ear, voice a dark whisper. You don't. His fingers brush a strand of wet hair from my shoulder. But trust has nothing to do with survival. I shiver. He watches it. Watches me. Then he pulls back half an inch and lets me breathe again. You have until morning, he says. Then I take you with me. Contract or no contract. My eyes widen. You can't force me. Not force. His eyes glint. Circumstance. My pulse hammers. Why do you want me at your estate, Damien? His gaze drops neck, collarbone, lips before rising again. Because you draw trouble, he says quietly. And I need you where I can see you. My breath catches. See me? He leans in again. Voice silk over steel. I've been watching you longer than you think. My chest tightens. Heat coils low. That's not comforting. It wasn't meant to be. He reaches for my hand slow, giving me time to pull away. I don't. He turns my palm up, traces a line from my wrist to my fingertip. A barely there touch, but my entire body reacts. You're trembling, he whispers. I'm not. I lie. He smiles. You will. It stayed. When he finally leaves, I stand alone in the penthouse, air thick with his scent and something I don't want to name. I look down at my hand. It's still shaking. The contract lies open on the counter. A choice I never asked for. A future I'm not ready for. A man I should fear more than death. My phone buzzes. A message. From an unknown number. Damien, lock your doors tonight. I won't be far. I stare at the screen until my vision blurs. I should block him. Instead, I put the phone down gently, slide the contract closer, and read the first line. This agreement ensures the safety, custody, and temporary guardianship of Isabella Viscari. Custody, guardianship, ownership. My breath slips out. I am not safe. Not from the world. Not from him. And worst of all, not from myself. Chapter 3. The House of Secrets. Isabella. I don't sleep. I lie on the edge of the bed Marco used to occupy like a throne and stare at the ceiling while the city hums somewhere far below, the contract of protection on the nightstand like a loaded gun pointed at my future. Every time I close my eyes, I see him. Not Marco. Damien, standing in my kitchen like he owns it. Like he owns me. His voice low and certain, the ghost of his fingers tracing my palm. As if he was signing something into my skin before I'd even picked up a pen. You have until morning. Then I take you with me. Contract or no contract. Arrogant bastard. The problem is, I believe him. By 3 a.m. I've read the contract twice. By 4, I've imagined all the ways this could go wrong. Kidnapping, ransom, worse. By 5, I've imagined all the ways not signing could go even more wrong. Bratva, cartel. The kind of men who don't bother with contracts at all. By 6, I'm in the shower, scrubbing Marco's last traces off my skin. By 7, I've made my decision. I sign. My hand doesn't even shake. The knock comes at 8 on the dot, not the tentative tap of a neighbor. The kind of knock that assumes the right to be answered. I smooth my black blazer over a silk blouse, wipe my clammy palms on my skirt, and open the door. He's not alone this time. 2 men in dark suits stand slightly behind him, shoulders wide enough to block a hallway, eyes flat and watchful. Security, muscle, violence in tailored wool. But my gaze goes, unavoidably, to him. Damien Moretti wears the morning like he owns it. Charcoal suit, open collar white shirt, a watch that probably cost more than my car. His hair is perfectly in place again, no trace of the rain from last night. His eyes skim over me, taking in my clothes, my face, the way I brace one hand on the doorframe. You look like you didn't sleep, he says. You look like you did, I counter. His mouth curves faintly. You signed? I don't answer. I just hold up the contract. His gaze flickers to the signature at the bottom. Good girl, he murmurs. Heat flashes up my neck. Infuriating. Don't call me that, I snap. His eyes darken a fraction. What should I call you then? Widow? Asset? He leans in a little. Isabella? The way he says my name does something strange to my insides. Just take it, I mutter, thrusting the contract at him. He takes it without looking away from me, folds it once, and slips it inside his jacket. That's it? I ask. No lawyer? No witnesses? No notary? He lifts a brow. You think I need a notary to make something binding? I bite the inside of my cheek. Where are we going? My house. I need time to pack. I protest. No, he says simply. My spine stiffens. Excuse me? He glances past me into the penthouse. My people already did that. I whirl around. There are boxes, suitcases. My closet has been gutted. Neatly organized garments zipped into garment bags. Jewelry cases stacked. Makeup and toiletries packed. Efficient, cold. You went through my things? My voice rises. Yes, without my permission. End quote. You gave it when you signed. I spin back to him. I didn't agree to be robbed. You're not being robbed, he says calmly. You're being relocated. This is my home. His gaze sharpens. This was your husband's home. It's a war zone now. You staying here is like painting a target on your back and turning off the lights. The bluntness steals my next argument. Besides, he adds, eyes skimming the sterile marble, the oversized art Marco chose, the hard edges. You never belonged here, I'm said. How would you know? I whisper. Because you're still alive, he says. Silence stretches between us. He straightens, nods once toward the boxes. My men will take care of it. You ride with me. For how long? I ask. 90 days? For as long as I decide you're not safe, he says. Or as long as you find what you're looking for in Marco's files. I shoot back. He smiles without warmth. That too. The car is black, of course. Sleek and understated. The kind of luxury that whispers rather than shouts. Inside, the leather is soft and smells faintly of him expensive cologne. Something woody and clean with an edge of smoke. He sits beside me. Close enough that our arms almost brush. He doesn't bother with small talk. The city drifts by, beyond the tinted windows, steel and glass and money. I clear my throat. You said, last night, that you've been cleaning up Marco's messes. I have. What does that mean exactly? He watches me for a long moment before answering. It means your husband was laundering money for people who don't like attention, he says. And when he started making decisions that put my businesses at risk, I intervened. I repeat, that's a very polite word. I can be polite, he murmurs. When I choose to be, and when you don't. His mouth curves. You don't want to see that. I look down at my hands. Did you know him well? Better than I wanted to. Did you? I hesitate. Did you like him? No. The answer is immediate. Flat. Somehow. That makes me like him more. Then why did you come to his funeral? I press. His gaze drops briefly to my mouth, then returns to my eyes. To see you, he says. Heat flares in my cheeks. Why? He doesn't answer right away. Because, he says finally. I wanted to know what kind of woman could survive being married to a man like Marco and still have light left in her eyes. My breath stutters. There is no light left, I whisper. He studies me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. Not yet, he says. But there will be. I look away. Heart pounding. The car slows. We turn through a set of wrought iron gates guarded by stone lions, down a long, tree-lined drive. The Moretti estate rises ahead like something out of another life. Modern lines, glass, stone, power. It's not gaudy like some mafia palaces I've seen on the news. It's beautiful, precise. Every inch of it sends a message. We are untouchable. We pull to a stop under a discreet covered entrance. A staff member in a dark suit opens my door before I can. Welcome, Signora, he says with a slight bow. Signora. I flinch. Damien steps out on his side and comes around, offering a hand. I stare at it. Then at him. You afraid I'll bite? He asks softly. Yes. His eyes glint. I'll warn you first. Against my better judgment, I put my hand in his. His fingers curve around mine, warm and sure, as he helps me out of the car. For a second, my balance tilts not from the heels, but from the unfamiliar feeling of a man steadying me without malice. He doesn't let go right away. This house is under my control, he says quietly, eyes on mine. Every camera, every lock, every guard. No one gets in or out without my knowledge. That's reassuring, I say. And terrifying? He suggests. A little. Good, he says. You should be a little scared. Of you? Of what happens to people who aren't. Inside, the house is all cool stone and warm wood, high ceilings and clean lines. The kind of wealth that doesn't need to prove itself. Staff appear and disappear like ghosts, silent, efficient. A woman in her 50s approaches, dark hair pulled back into a sleek chignon, posture straight. Signor, she greets. This is her? This is Isabella, Damien says. Isabella, this is Maria. She runs the house. Maria's sharp eyes flick over me. assessing. There's no hostility there. No warmth either. Just professional neutrality. We've prepared the East Suite for you, she says. If you'll follow me. I move to do just that. But Damien's hand lands lightly at the small of my back. She'll be in the master wing, he says. Maria's brows lift the tiniest bit. Of course. My heart lurches. Excuse me? He looks down at me. I want you close. I don't. My throat goes tight. I'm not sharing a bedroom with you. His eyes flicker with something like amusement. Who said anything about sharing? He nods to Maria. The connecting room. Make sure it's stocked. Yes, Signor. He turns back to me. You'll have your own room. Next to mine. Door locks both sides. You'll have a key. Aren't you worried I'll sneak out? I ask. His gaze dips to my lips, then lower, before returning to my eyes. If you do, he says, I'll come find you. My pulse jumps. Maria clears her throat gently. If you'll come this way, Signora. I follow her up a wide staircase, Damien's presence behind me like a second shadow. The master wing is quieter than the rest of the house, the air softer somehow. There are paintings on the walls, black and white cityscapes, abstract canvases with dark blues and golds. Maria opens a door on the left. This will be your room, she says. Closet to the right, bath through there. If you need anything, you press this. She points to a discreet panel near the bed. The room is beautiful. Warm wood floors. A massive bed draped in cream-colored linens. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the grounds and, beyond them, the faint glitter of the city. It's nothing like the cold, impersonal penthouse Marco chose, full of sharp edges and reflective surfaces. This room feels soft, dangerously so. I'll let you settle in, Maria says. Your things will be brought up shortly. She slips out. I turn slowly, letting myself absorb the space. Damien leans in the doorway, arms crossed over his chest. You did this quickly, I say. I was planning for your arrival before your husband's funeral, he replies. My head snaps toward him. What? He pushes off the doorframe and steps inside, closing the distance. Did you think I improvised this overnight? He asks softly. You've been on my radar for months, Isabella. Something in his tone makes my stomach flip. Why? I demand. He stops a few feet away. Because Marco was making enemies faster than he was making money, he says. And because he was careless with the things he owned. He lets that implication hang. I'm not a thing, I whisper. No. He agrees. You're not. His gaze sweeps me. Slow, intent. That's the problem. I swallow. What do you want from me, Damien? He considers honesty, he says, for a start. I laugh, brittle. In this world, in this house, he corrects. With me, you're asking me to be honest with the man who dragged me out of my home and into his? Yes, that's insane. So am I, he says easily. I hate the way my lips twitch. He takes another step. Start small, he murmurs. Answer this honestly. Are you afraid of me? Yes. No? I say. His eyes flash. Liar, you said you wanted honesty. Not interrogation. Fear isn't an insult, he says. It's information. He closes the last bit of distance. I can see the faint stubble on his jaw now, the way his pupils expand when he looks at me. Try again, he whispers. My heart hammers. Yes, I admit. I'm afraid of you. His breath leaves him in a slow exhale. Good, he says. You should be. Azote. His fingers lift, hovering near my cheek without touching. But do you think I'll hurt you? Silence stretches. I think of Marco's hand at my throat. His voice low and cruel in my ear. The constant edge of fear in my own home. I look up at Damien. No, I say slowly. I don't think you'll hurt me. His jaw tightens, as if he wasn't prepared for the answer. I won't, he says. Not unless you ask me to. Heat flashes under my skin. Do you always talk like that? I mutter. Only when I mean it. His hand drops, leaving the air between us charged. Rest, he says. Explore the house if you want to. But don't leave the property without me. Am I a prisoner? You're protected. Same thing, I whisper. Depends who holds the key, he says. He turns to go. Damien? He pauses. I lick my lips. You said you'd keep me where you can see me. Why? He looks over his shoulder. Eyes darker than I've seen them yet. Because trouble follows you, he says. And I like to see trouble coming. Then he leaves me alone in a room that suddenly feels much too small. The closet is full when I open it. Not just with my clothes, although they're there too, neatly arranged, but with new pieces, dresses, shoes. Lingerie in silk and lace I definitely did not own yesterday. I touch a hanger with 2 fingers. The tag says my size. I hate how accurately he's read me, and how part of me wonders what he'd look like seeing me in any of these. I close the doors quickly, embarrassed by my own thoughts. On the dresser, there's a framed photograph already placed there. Me? It's from a charity gala 2 years ago. I'm in a black dress, hair swept to the side, half smiling at something out of frame. The picture is candid. I don't remember anyone taking it. I don't remember ever looking that unguarded. I lift it with trembling hands. It's one thing to know he's been watching. Another to see proof of it. Sitting on my dresser like a claim. I set it back down, a little too hard, then sink onto the edge of the bed and press my fingers to my temples. This house is full of his secrets. And now, I suppose, of mine. Somewhere down the hall, behind one of these polished doors, is the man who killed my husband, and the only man who's ever made me feel like I wasn't invisible. I lie back on the bed and stare at the ceiling. I am not safe. But for the first time in a very long time, I am not bored, either.
Damien, she walks like she's on a cliff. Every step measured. Every glance over her shoulder calculated. She takes in the art, the furniture, the security cameras without asking, but I can see the questions in her eyes. Good. Curiosity is safer than complacency. I watch her on the monitors in my office for a few minutes after I leave her room. Not because I don't trust her, because I don't trust anyone else. She moves around the suite, the closet, the dresser, the window, stops when she sees the photograph. Her hand lifts to her throat, her shoulders tighten. Guilt pricks me. I ignore it. Luca walks in without knocking. He knows better, but he also knows I'd have him shot if he were anyone else. You moved her into your wing, he says. Observant, I reply. He scowls. You really want her that close? Yes. Why? Because if someone gets into this house far enough to reach my floor, I say, she's already dead, and so am I. So it doesn't matter which room she's in. That's not what I meant, and you know it, he mutters. I don't answer. He sighs. The Bratva are sniffing around. They sent feelers through one of the old Viscari shell companies. They want what's left of his capital. They're not getting it, I say. You sure you're thinking clearly? He asks. You look at her like, finish that sentence, I warn. He shuts his mouth. Another man might be afraid. Luca is just careful. She's a complication, he says instead. She's an opportunity, I counter. An opportunity to feel things you don't have time for. I look back at the screen. Isabella is at the window now, one hand pressed to the glass, eyes on the city beyond the estate walls. She looks like a woman who's been locked in a cage so long she doesn't trust open doors. I don't feel things, I say. Liar, he mutters under his breath. I let it go. She has access to things I need, I continue. Accounts, passwords, detailed knowledge of Marco's movements. And you really think she'll give them to you? Yes. Why? I think of the way she flinched when I mentioned men coming for her. The way she looked at the contract. The way she relaxed just a fraction when I promised not to hurt her. Because, I say slowly, I'm the only one offering to save her without asking her to suffer for it first. Luca shakes his head. You keep talking like you're not the devil in this story. This every, I never claimed I wasn't the devil, I say. I just happened to be her devil, he exhales. And what happens when she finds out you killed her husband? I already know the answer. I just don't like it. She'll hate me, I say. Then why risk it? Because if I hadn't killed him, I say quietly, eyes still on her, he would have killed her. Luca goes still. You sure? He asks. Yes. I remember the footage, the recordings, the conversations he thought no one heard. She's better off with him dead and hating me, I say, than dead in his house, never knowing there was another option. Luca rubs a hand over his face. You're playing a dangerous game. I always have. This is different, he insists. This isn't about ports or votes or contracts. This is emotional. I shut the monitor off. She's a widow, I say. I'm the man who killed her husband. Our story was never going to be safe. He opens his mouth, then closes it. You're not planning to tell her, are you? Not yet. And later, I look toward the window, where the city gleams like a promise and a threat all at once. Later, I say. I'll see if she loves me enough to forgive the worst thing I've done for her. Luca stares. You're insane, he says finally. Probably, he sighs. I'll increase perimeter security. If anyone's going to kill you, I'd rather it be your enemies and not your own wife. She's not my wife, I say. Not yet, he mutters, walking out. I'm alone again. I turn the monitor back on. Isabella is lying on the bed now, staring at the ceiling. Her hand drifts absently to her throat, tracing the phantom of a bruise that's not there anymore. I won't let him haunt you, I murmur to the empty room. I don't know if I mean Marco or myself. Either way, the house has started to shift around her, and whether she realizes it or not, every secret inside these walls is now tied to the widow of the man I killed.
Chapter 4. The night the walls closed in. Isabella, the Moretti estate is quieter at night. Not empty, never empty, but quieter. The staff move like shadows. The security lights pulse softly along the perimeter. Somewhere out there, men with guns walk patterns I can't see. In here, I pretend I'm not one of the things they're guarding. I sit at the large desk, in the small study Damien assigned me, a room adjacent to his office. Glass-topped, dark wood, minimalist art on the walls. One computer, already logged into a private server. Marco's server. The screen glows with folders and subfolders labeled in the kind of code rich men use when they think they're clever. Charities, consulting, logistics, lies. All of them. I click through one, then another. Every folder asks for a password. I try a few of Marco's predictable choices: birthdays, yacht names, the name of his favorite overpriced whiskey. Access denied. A light knock. Sounds on the half-open door. I tense. Yes? Damien leans against the frame. Sleeves rolled up, forearms taut, tie abandoned. He looks like sin in a boardroom. You're still working, he says. I'm trying. I correct. He steps in, closing the door behind him with a soft click that sounds far louder than it should. Show me, he says. I gesture to the screen. He locked everything. I can't get past it. He comes around the desk, not to the other side, but to my side. Close. Too close. Heat radiates from him as he braces one hand on the back of my chair and leans over my shoulder. My breath stumbles. His scent, clean, dark, expensive, wraps around me. Try this, he murmurs. His fingers brush mine on the mouse. My skin tingles. He types something quickly, one-handed, the movement efficient and sure. The folder opens. I stare. How did you? I've had copies of his drives for weeks, he says. I let you struggle for 10 minutes to see which obvious passwords you'd try. Okay, I twist in my chair to look at him. You were testing me? Always, he says simply. I want to be offended. I'm too tired. Fine, I say. You hacked my husband before you killed him. I'm not sure if that's reassuring or horrifying. His gaze snags on the word killed. but he doesn't flinch. Reassuring, he says, "Trust me." I really hate when you say that. He smiles, slow and sharp. I know. He stays where he is, a looming presence beside and slightly behind me, while I click through the now unlocked folders. At first, it's the usual filth shell companies, offshore accounts, a trail of money that winds through enough jurisdictions to make prosecuting anything a nightmare. Then it gets worse. Hidden among the bland labels is a folder simply named Packages. My fingers hesitate over the mouse. "Open it," Damien says quietly. I do. My stomach lurches. Spreadsheets. Photos. Profiles. Lists of assets, categorized by age, nationality, price, men, women, girls. "Human trafficking," I say, voice wooden. "Yes." "You knew?" I whisper. "I suspected," he answers. "Now we know." My vision blurs for a second. Was he buying? Sometimes. Damien's voice is flat. Sometimes he was arranging introductions, facilitating transit, taking a cut. My lips part. The room feels colder. He never. I start, then stop. I don't know what I was going to say. He never hit me that hard. He never forced me that way. He never sold me. I don't know if any of those are true anymore. Keep scrolling. Damien says. The next page shows a list of upcoming deliveries. Dates, locations, payment schedules. One entry near the bottom has no photo attached, just a placeholder. Code, IV Prime. Age, 27. Destination, Dubai. Delivery date, 15th. Status. Arranging terms. Notes. Owner will not be informed until transfer complete. My throat closes. I don't see the rest of the line until Damien quietly enlarges the cell. Recipient. K.i.l.le, via intermediary. D.M. The blood drains from my face. D.M. I whisper. Damien, that's you? His jaw tightens. Not the way you think, he says. How many other DMs do you know involved in this world? My voice rises. What is this? Why is your name on a trafficking file? He doesn't snap back. He doesn't raise his voice. That scares me more. You think I buy women? He asks, dangerously calm. I don't know what you do, I say, breathing hard. I thought I did with Marco. And look how that turned out. He looks down at the line of text, like it personally offends him. Marco was arranging to sell something, he says. To someone who uses my network without my permission. This, he taps the screen, was a trail I intended to follow back to him, then erase. Him? I ask. Who's him? He doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he scrolls down to the note field and highlights the last part. Owner will not be informed until transfer complete. Then he looks at me. Realization slams into me. Owner, I whisper. That's Marco. Yes, Damien says. And the package. IV Prime. My voice shakes. Who is that? He watches me for a long, horrible moment. You haven't guessed? He asks softly. I shake my head. He leans closer, eyes like knives. Isabella Viscari. Initials IV. Prime, because you're his primary asset. My lungs forget how to work. No. The denial tears out of me. No, that's not. He wouldn't. He would, Damien says. And he almost did. The room spins. I grip the desk so hard my fingernails bite into the wood. He moves, reaching for my shoulder. I jerk away. Don't touch me, I whisper. His jaw tightens. He drops his hand. I told you your husband made enemies, he says. I didn't tell you he was willing to trade the only thing he couldn't replace. My God, I choke. He was going to sell me. Yes. The word is a verdict. My stomach turns. My head swims. Why are you showing me this? I demand. Do you enjoy this? Watching me break? Look at me, he says quietly. I don't want to. Isabella. There's something in his tone that makes my gaze lift despite myself. He kneels down in front of the chair so we're face to face, his hands braced on the armrests, not touching me but close enough to feel the heat coming off him. I'm showing you this, he says, each word deliberate, because you keep looking at me like I'm the worst thing that ever happened to you. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. His eyes search mine. I need you to understand something, he continues. I am not the man who hurt you. I didn't say you were. Well, but you think it, he says. Every time you flinch, every time you brace when I get too close, every time you look at my hands like they're going to close around your throat, tears burn the backs of my eyes. You're not gentle, I whisper. No, he agrees. I'm not. You're dangerous. Yes, you kill people. Yes. Then why? My voice cracks. Should I feel safe with you? He leans in, his gaze dark and steady. Because, Isabella, he says softly, I am also the man who made sure you never boarded that plane. I freeze. A chill runs down my spine. What do you mean? I ask, voice barely audible. He exhales slowly. This file, he says, nodding at the screen. The timing. The transaction. The last-minute change to his will. Marco wasn't just going on a business trip. He was leaving the country. And he didn't plan to take you with him. My fingertips go numb. He planned to trade you, Damien continues, to a man whose money he needed more than he needed you. And I, he pauses, had other plans. The way he says it. There's something in the space between the words. Something he isn't saying. Other plans. I repeat. What plans? Exactly. Before he can answer, the room goes dark. Not dim. Black. The computer screen cuts out. The lights die. The hum of the air conditioning stops. Silence slams into the house, thick and unnatural. Then, distant, sharp, an alarm shrieks.
Damien, the power kill is clean. Too clean. I'm on my feet before the siren finishes its first wail. Stay here, I snap. Isabella stiffens. What's happening? I'm already moving to the wall, pressing a recessed panel. A hidden drawer slides open, revealing a matte black handgun. Damien, she breathes, eyes wide. Do not move from that chair, I order. Do you understand? Her throat works. Yes, and friend. The emergency lights flare on soft red strips along the floor. Enough to navigate by. Not enough to make a good target. The siren cuts mid-wail as someone overrides it on the security console. I hit the intercom on the desk. Talk to me, I say. Luca's voice crackles back. Power cut at the east perimeter. Backup generators kicked in, but we've got movement on the north fence. 2, maybe 3 men, armed. My jaw tightens. Bratva? Could be. Too early to tell. We're locking down now. I think. Get eyes on them, I say. Non-lethal if you can. I want one alive. On it. I cut the connection and turn back to Isabella. She's still in the chair. Knuckles white on the armrests. Eyes huge in the emergency glow. Come on, I say. I thought you said stay here, she says. Change of plan, I reply. There's no lock on this door. You're safer in the panic room. Panic room? Her voice jumps. You have a panic room? Of course I have a panic room. End quote. I grab her hand and pull her up. She stumbles, then finds her footing. Her skin is cool. Her palm fits against mine too easily. This way, I say, leading her into my office. It's bigger, darker, the emergency lights casting everything in red gold. The big windows are now solid black steel shutters slid into place the moment the alarm sounded. Behind my desk, I press my thumb to the underside of the wood. A panel clicks open in the wall to our right, revealing a narrow steel door. Isabella's breath catches. You've thought of everything. I try. I enter the code, press my thumb to the scanner, and the door swings inward, revealing a small, Windowless room with its own independent power, soft white lights, a narrow couch, a wall of monitors, a cabinet. She hesitates at the threshold. I don't blame her. Walking into a room with no exit but the one I control takes trust she hasn't had time to build. I soften my tone. Isabella, I say. Get in. She looks up at me. Will you be here too? For a second, I imagine it. Her. Me. A locked room. Nothing else. It's a dangerous thought. I'm going to deal with the unwelcome guests, I say. You're going to stay here and wait for my call. Her pulse flutters in her throat. I want to put my mouth there and taste it. That's a thought for a better moment. What if they get past your guards? She whispers. They won't. You can't know that. I can, I say. She bites her lip. Please, I add quietly. Her eyes widen. It's the first time I've said that word to her. Okay, she whispers. She steps inside. I follow long enough to show her the essentials. Bathroom through there, water in the cabinet. This is the direct line to me. I touch a secure phone on the wall. No one else. If it rings, you answer. She nods. I start to leave. She catches my wrist. Damien. I look down. Her fingers are small but strong around my arm. Her eyes search mine. Don't get killed, she says. Something warm and unwelcome moves under my ribs. I won't, I say. You sound very sure. I have something to come back for. Color rises in her cheeks. She drops my wrist as if she's burned. Lock the door behind me, I say. Nobody opens it but me. Then I step out. The steel door swings shut. The locks engage with a deep, solid thud. For a second, I stand there, hand flat against the cool metal, imagining her on the other side. Then I pull myself together and move. The security feed in the main control room shows 3 men at the north fence. Their good black clothes, night vision goggles, weapons held low and tight. They knew where the cameras were and avoided most of them. Not all. Zoom. I order. One of my techs complies. The screen focuses on a shoulder patch, half hidden by shadow. A wolf's head. Ink black. Not Brodva, Luka mutters. That's Kovac's crew. Kovac. A mid-level enforcer for one of the Eastern outfits. Dangerous, but dumb enough to be useful. What the hell does he want at my fence? Luka asks. Leverage, I say. Testing our response time, seeing if we're distracted by the fallout from Marco's death. He picked the wrong night, Luka growls. Any movement inside? I ask. Nothing. The tech scans the map. Perimeter breach, but no entry. Yet, I say. I watch them move along the fence line, looking for a weak point. Kovac doesn't risk this for nothing, I murmur. They're here for someone, or something. Luka glances at me. You think they know she's here? I think everyone will know soon, I say. Word travels fast when a widow vanishes from a funeral and doesn't go home. He curses under his breath. Orders? Light them up, I say. No fatalities. I want Kovac awake enough to scream when I ask him questions. Luka grins, humorless. With pleasure. Was it too dead? 20 minutes later, Kovac is in my interrogation room with a dislocated shoulder, a bleeding nose, and a very bad attitude. I don't bother sitting. Who sent you? I ask. He spits blood on the floor. I sigh. I hate when they make this take longer than necessary. 15 minutes, 1 broken finger, and a few persuasive reminders of what I'm capable of later. He cracks. Brodva, he groans. They wanted to test your perimeter. Wanted to see if the rumors were true. What rumors? I ask. That you took the widow, he says. That she's under your protection now. My jaw tightens. And what did they plan to do if they found a gap? I ask. Take her, he wheezes. Use her. Use, I repeat softly. He flinches. I lean down, gripping his jaw. Tell your Brodva friends something for me, I say. Tell them if they come near my house again, I won't bother with tests. He swallows. I'll go straight to war, I murmur. I let him go. Dump him at the edge of their territory, I tell Luka. Make sure he can walk. I want them to see exactly how far he got. When they drag him out, I finally allow myself to feel it. Not rage. Rage, I understand. This is something else. The thought of those men getting past my fence, my guards, my walls, walking into my house, dragging her out of a bed that I haven't even touched her in yet. That thought is a wildfire. I head back toward the panic room with long strides, the tight knot in my chest pulling me forward. I unlock the steel door. It opens half an inch. The chain is on. She doesn't trust me completely. Good. Isabella, I say. There's a shuffling sound. The chain slides back. The door opens wider. She's standing in the middle of the room, arms wrapped around herself, eyes too big in the soft light. The monitors behind her show the estate's layout. The flashing indicators now quiet. You're okay, she says softly. It sounds like a statement she's checking herself against. Yes, I answer. So are you, she exhales. What was it? Testing the fences, I say. They didn't get in. Her gaze searches my face, like she's looking for lies. Who? She asks. People who want leverage, I say. They think you're leverage on me now. Aren't I? She asks quietly. I step inside and close the door. For once, the small space doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a container for something volatile. You're under my protection, I say. That makes you mine in their eyes. They think if they take you, they take a piece of me. Are they wrong? She whispers. I don't answer. I move closer instead. She doesn't step back. That's new. You locked me in here, she says. Do you have any idea how that feels for someone who spent the last 3 years locked in a marriage? My chest tightens. It kept you alive. This was Inder. So did your men with guns. And what if one of them had failed? I ask. What if one of those men outside slipped through the cracks and found your room before I did? Her jaw clenches. I won't apologize for locking you in the safest room in this house, Isabella, I say quietly. I will apologize for not explaining it better. She blinks, startled. You're apologizing, she says. Yes, that's unexpected. Don't get used to it. Something shifts in her expression. The tension in her shoulders eases, just slightly. She looks suddenly, painfully young. I saw the file, she says, voice barely above a whisper. The one with my initials, the prime asset, the note about not informing the owner. She swallows. He was going to sell me. Yes. You said you had other plans. Yes. Her eyes search mine. Did you? She hesitates. Were you the reason his plane exploded? The question hangs between us like a sword. I could lie. I could deflect. I choose a third option. I step close enough that I can feel her breath on my throat. I was the reason, I say. He didn't take you with him. Her eyes flash. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight. Anger sparks in her gaze. You think you can just decide what I can handle? What I'm allowed to know? Yes, I say. She glares. You're infuriating. So I've been told. 8. She moves before I can anticipate it, closing the last inch between us. Hands flat on my chest, not pushing, not pulling, just there. Her fingers clutch at my shirt. You're dangerous, she whispers. You terrify me. Good, I say. You terrify me too. Her breath catches. I don't. You make me want things I shouldn't want, I say. You make me think about choices I swore I'd never make. You make me question if I'd burn empires for something as fragile as the way you just looked at me. She stares up at me, eyes huge. My control phrase. Tell me to stop, I say softly. She doesn't. I lower my head, slowly enough to give her time. Our mouths hover a breath apart. Isabella, I murmur. Don't stop, she whispers. That's all I need. I close the distance. The kiss isn't gentle. It's not brutal either. It's inevitable. Her lips are soft, tentative at first, then hungry. She tastes like fear and defiance and something dangerously close to hope. I fist one hand in her hair, angling her head. She makes a small sound, half gasp. have something else, and presses closer. Heat slams through me. I try to keep it slow. I fail. Her fingers twist in my shirt, pulling me down, as if she's trying to erase any space left between us. I deepen the kiss, tongue brushing hers, claiming, coaxing, asking and taking all at once. She responds like no one ever taught her it was okay to want. I pull back a fraction, breathing hard. Her pupils are blown wide, lips swollen, chest rising and falling too fast. "We shouldn't," she whispers. "No, I agree. We shouldn't." Neither of us moves. My thumb traces her lower lip. She shivers. "You're married," I say roughly. "Or you were. You're grieving." She laughs, broken. "I'm grieving the years I lost, not the man who took them. It's still soon." "Yes." Again. We're locked in a panic room while men with guns circle my property. "That too. This is a terrible idea," I say. "The worst," she agrees. We stare at each other. Then her mouth curves, just slightly. "Do it anyway," she whispers. A low, helpless sound escapes me. I kiss her again. This time, there's nothing controlled about it. All the things I've been holding back. The fear, the anger, the constant, gnawing desire rush between us. She meets all of it, matching me, opening to me, taking as much as I give. My hands slide to her hips, fingers digging in, pulling her against me. She gasps and presses closer, body arching. I force myself to stop before I forget who I am, before I forget who she is. I tear my mouth from hers and rest my forehead against hers, breathing like I've run a mile. She clutches my shoulders, nails biting lightly through the fabric. "Why did you stop?" She breathes. "Because," I say, voice rough, "I want the first time I undress you to happen in a bed, not in a bunker." Color rushes to her cheeks. "And because," I add, "I want you to be sure you're choosing me, not just reaching for whatever feels like a lifeline in the dark." Her eyes soften. "I'm in the dark." "I know," I say. "Let me turn the lights on one at a time." Silence stretches between us, charged and fragile. She exhales. "You think you can fix me?" "No," I say. "I think I can make it easier for you to fix yourself." She rests her head against my chest, just for a moment. I wrap my arms around her without thinking. I shouldn't. I do it anyway. Outside, the house returns to normal. The generators hum softly. The security lights, the hum of air, the ordinary noise of a fortress that knows how to absorb an attack and move on. Inside the panic room, the danger has only just begun. I'm holding the widow of the man I killed. And for the first time in a very long time, I'm not sure if I'm the one who's in control, or the one who's about to be destroyed.
Chapter 5. The Hunt. The Truth and the Kiss That Shouldn't Exist. Isabella. Morning comes too soon. I wake in my new room at the Moretti estate, with the ghost of Damien's mouth still on mine. His scent is on my skin. My lips still feel bruised. My heart hasn't slowed since last night. I shouldn't have kissed him back. I shouldn't have let him touch me, hold me, whisper things that peeled me open from the inside. But the panic room was dark, and his voice was steady, and for one terrifying, intoxicating heartbeat, I believed him. And the worst part? Not that I kissed him, but that I wanted to. I sit up slowly, pressing a hand over my racing heart. The monitors in the panic room had shown danger approaching the house. The man outside the fence had said I was leverage on Damien. The idea rattles inside me like a loose bullet. Why am I leverage on him? Why would he care if someone took me? Why did he return to the panic room like he was afraid of what he'd find? I throw the blankets aside. Questions are safer than the memory of his mouth. By the time I finish dressing, there's a knock at my door. Not Damien's heavy, certain knock. A lighter one. "Come in." Maria steps in, composed as always. "Breakfast is ready, Signora," she says. The Signor is waiting in the sunroom. Waiting. My pulse jumps. Is he alone? "Yes," Maria answers. Then her eyes soften the tiniest bit. He has been since dawn. Why does that make my chest tighten? I follow her through the corridors until she leads me to a bright room of glass walls overlooking the garden. Morning light spills across marble floors and gold-veined columns, and in the center of it, at a long glass table, sits Damien. He looks dangerous in daylight. His shirt is black today, sleeves rolled to his forearms, watch glinting, hair still damp from a shower. A dark bruise shades the edge of his jaw, probably from the scuffle last night. I shouldn't notice that. I notice anyway. He looks up when I enter. His eyes travel from my hair to my waist, to the delicate chain around my neck, one of the necklaces he provided, apparently. For a second, he forgets to breathe. Then his expression shudders. "Morning," he says. Not gentle, not cold, just charged. "Good morning," I answer, sitting across from him. Maria pours coffee, sets pastries and fruit between us, and leaves. We're alone. The silence stretches tight as wire. I take a sip of coffee to hide the trembling in my fingers. "About last night," I begin. "No," he says immediately. My head jerks up. "No?" His jaw flexes. "You don't get to pretend it didn't happen. I wasn't. You were." His voice is low, steel wrapped in velvet. "You were about to apologize, or blame adrenaline, or fear, or the dark." Heat crawls up my throat. "And you weren't scared?" "No," he says. "I wanted you sober, awake, and wanting me back." My breath stutters. "Damien, you kissed me," he says quietly. "Remember that before you talk yourself into a lie." I place the cup down, hands unsteady. "It was a mistake," I whisper. His gaze drops to my mouth. "No. A mistake is something you regret. I do regret it." I snap. "Say it again," he challenges. "And look me in the eye." I hesitate. He leans forward slowly. A predator scenting truth. "I dare you," he murmurs. I open my mouth. Voices erupt in the hallway. "Damien! It's Luca!" The tension snaps. Damien rises instantly. All heat replaced by sharp, controlled danger. He opens the door. "What?" Luca steps in, tablet in hand, face pale with urgency. "They found something," he says. "About the plane Marco boarded before it exploded." My stomach knots. Damien's voice drops to lethal quiet. "Show me." Luca turns the tablet toward him. Damien's expression doesn't change, but something in the air does. He goes still, too still. "What is it?" I ask. Damien doesn't answer. Luca looks between us. "You should tell her." "No," Damien says. That one word slices clean through the room. "Damien?" I whisper. He exhales once, sharp, controlled, then looks at me. "Not yet," he says. Fear slams into me. "Tell me what?" Before he can stop him, Luca answers. "There was no scheduled flight for Marco Viscari that night," he says. "He boarded a jet that didn't exist on any registry. Someone erased the logs, and the only passenger listed for the return trip." He hesitates. "Was you." My blood runs cold. "I wasn't planning to leave the country," I say. "No," Luca says gently. "But he was planning to take you." Damien cuts him a vicious look. "Enough!" I stand so quickly the chair scrapes. "Tell me the rest." Damien steps toward me. "Isabella." "No." My voice cracks. "No more half-truths. What aren't you telling me?" His jaw clenches. A muscle ticks in his cheek. "Marco wasn't running," Damien says slowly. "He was trading." "I know," I say. "I read the file. I saw." "You didn't see all of it." His voice is too calm, too careful. I feel myself shaking. "Damien, what happened to that plane?" Silence. Absolute, suffocating silence. He doesn't blink, doesn't breathe, doesn't lie. He just looks at me, and something inside me breaks. "Oh my God," I whisper. "You did it." Damien closes his eyes, just once. Then they open again. Darker than I've ever seen them. Isabella, he says quietly. Listen, you killed him. Yes, the word hits like a bullet. Slow, heavy, final. I step back. He steps forward. Don't, I whisper. Don't what? Don't tell you the truth you demanded? His voice is low, dangerous, shaking in a way I've never heard. You wanted honesty, that's it. So you admit it. I choke. You murdered him. I saved you. My laugh is a broken, ugly sound. You don't get to rewrite this. I'm not rewriting anything, he snaps. I'm telling you what your husband planned to do to you. You would not have survived that flight. I didn't ask you to save me. No, he says. You didn't ask him to sell you either. The room tilts. I grip the edge of the table. If he was trading me... My voice trembles. Why did you care? Damien goes very still. Because, he says, I wasn't going to let anyone else take what was mine to protect. The word mine sends something hot and furious down my spine. I am not yours. You were never his, Damien says. He treated you like property. I don't. You kidnapped me. I rescued you. You kissed me. You kissed me back. The truth slams into us like impact. Neither of us breathes. Neither of us looks away. Finally, I whisper, I don't know who you are. Something flickers in his eyes, despair, maybe. No, he says quietly. But I know who you are. He steps toward me again. I step back again. He stops. Not because he can't move, because I'm trembling. I'll give you space, he says softly. If you want it. He turns to leave, and that's when the window shatters. A bullet rips through the glass. Damien moves faster than human. His arms crash into me, dragging me down behind the marble pillar just as another shot explodes through the room. Glass rains down like ice. He covers me completely, shielding my body with his. Stay down, he growls against my ear. My voice shakes. I said stay down. More shots. Screams from somewhere in the house. Damien's men shout orders in Italian and English. He pulls his gun free with one hand while keeping me pinned safely with the other. I'm shaking so hard I can barely breathe. He notices. His hand slides up the back of my neck, firm and grounding. Look at me, he demands. I do. His eyes burn anger, fear, possession. You're safe, he says fiercely. Do you hear me? I've got you. My breath breaks. Even if you hate me, he murmurs, I will die before I let anyone touch you. Damien. He leans in, forehead pressing to mine for a split second, anchoring me. Then he rises in one swift movement, gun aimed, voice sharp. Luca, west perimeter, now. He fires 3 shots, precise and lethal. Silence falls. The broken glass glitters like diamonds across the floor. He lowers the gun slowly, eyes still scanning. Then he turns back to me. Are you hurt? His voice is rough, too rough. No, I whisper. You? A ghost of a smile. Not today. He crouches in front of me. I don't pull away this time. He touches my cheek with the back of his fingers, gentle despite the violence he just unleashed. You can hate me, he says softly. You can scream at me. You can leave me when this is over. His thumb brushes my jaw. But right now, Isabella, you have to stay alive. My throat tightens. And to stay alive, he murmurs. You have to trust the man who killed your husband. I swallow hard. Can you do that? He asks. I don't know. I shouldn't. I can't. But when I look at him, bloody knuckles, shaking breath, eyes burning only for me, my mouth forms a traitorous whisper. Yes. His eyes close for a moment. Relief, pain, want. When they open, something inside him has fallen apart or fallen into place, I can't tell which. He leans in slowly, giving me time to stop him. I don't. His lips brush mine feather-light, reverent, heartbreaking. A promise. A threat. A ruin. Then he pulls back, breath trembling. We're not done, he whispers. I know. God help me, I know. Chapter 6. The widow and the man who killed for her, Isabella. Everything moves fast after the gunshots. Too fast. The Moretti estate goes into full lockdown, shutters sealing over windows, guards flooding hallways, Luca barking orders into comms. Damien never lets go of my hand as he pulls me through the house, steps fast, breathing sharp, movements surgical. He's vibrating with fury. Not calm, not cold, not tonight. Tonight. Something in him is unraveling. We reach the master office, dark, fortified, walls humming with generators. He pulls me inside, slams the door, engages 3 locks. Only then does he face me. His chest rises and falls like he can't get enough air. You could have died, he says. I didn't. You could have died, he repeats, voice cracking like ice under pressure. My hand trembles, but my voice doesn't. Tell me the rest, I whisper. He stops breathing. I step closer. No more half-truths, Damien. No more shadows. You killed him, fine. You did it to stop him from trading me, fine. You protected me from Bratva, fine. My throat tightens, but I need the whole truth. He looks away. That terrifies me more than the bullets. Damien. He drags a hand through his hair, something he only does when he's losing control. His shoulders rise, fall, tremble once. I didn't just kill him, he says softly. Silence swallows the room. I hunted him. The words sink into me like cold metal. Why? His gaze lifts, and what I see inside it destroys what's left of my certainty. Because he hurt you. The floor sways under my feet. I didn't tell you. You didn't have to. His voice is low, lethal. I saw the bruises you tried to cover. The way you flinched at loud sounds. The way you froze when he touched you in public. The way you stopped speaking in a room because you were afraid he'd correct you. Tears sting my eyes. He controlled you, Damien continues. Humiliated you. Broke pieces of you he had no right to touch. My voice breaks. How long have you known? His jaw flexes. Since the gala, he says. The gala? I whisper. That night, you wore black silk, he says. You looked like a woman trying not to cry. He grabbed your elbow too hard. I told myself it was nothing. Weth, his hands clench at his sides. Then I saw you 2 weeks later, he murmurs. At the charity auction. You smiled at something the host said, and he... Damien's eyes go murder dark. Put his hand on the back of your neck. Subtle enough not to cause a scene. Hard enough to warn you. I remember that moment. How my spine went rigid. How my stomach dropped. You watched? I ask. Yes, he says. And I made a decision. His voice drops to a dangerous whisper. I was going to kill him. I shudder. He steps closer, but slowly, like approaching something fragile. He was planning to sell you, Damien says. And I wasn't going to let that man walk away with you one more day. I swallow hard. So you planted the bomb on the jet? A long silence. Yes, my breath catches. He never knew? No, Damien says. He thought he was getting away. He thought he still owned you. He died believing he won. His shoulders lower. Exhaustion bleeding through his voice. He never learned you were already mine to protect. My pulse stutters. I should scream. I should run. But instead, I whisper. And what am I now? His voice drops to a growl. What you choose to be. I blink. Stunned. I'm not taking you, he says quietly. I never was. You're not here as punishment, or payback, or debt. He steps close enough that I feel his breath. You're here because I'm not strong enough to stay away from you anymore. Something inside me breaks open. You killed him for me. I breathe. I'd do it again, he says. Say the word. And oh no, my throat closes. That's not something you should say out loud. It's the truest thing I've ever said. The door bursts open. Luca storms in. "They breached the south gate," he says. 3 SUVs. Bratva insignia confirmed. Damien straightens, becoming someone else. Steel. Shadow. Absolute power. "No negotiations," he says. "This ends tonight." Luca nods. Disappears. Damien turns back to me. "You're staying in the safe room." "No." His eyes narrow. "Isabella, I'm done being locked away," I say. "I'm not hiding while you fight for something I never asked for." "You want to die?" he snaps. "No," I whisper. "I want to stand with the man who stood for me." Something violent and vulnerable twists across his face. Then, a quiet, ruined sound leaves him. He grabs my face with both hands and kisses me like he's drowning. Not gentle, not asking, taking and giving and claiming all at once. A kiss that tastes like goodbye, or like everything after. He pulls back just enough to breathe against my lips. "If I die tonight," he whispers, "remember this." I shake my head fiercely. "No. If I don't come back." "No," I choke. "Don't say it." "I'm saying it because I won't lie to you." Tears burn down my cheeks. He wipes them with his thumb. "You stay alive," he orders. "No matter what you hear, I want you alive." "I will be," he murmurs, "because I still haven't finished kissing you." My breath catches. He presses his forehead to mine. "Lock the door after me." Then he leaves.
Damien, war has a rhythm, a pulse, a math only men like me understand. Tonight, the Bratva brought 20 men. I brought 50. They chose the wrong house. They always underestimate what a man will do when a woman he wants is threatened. The gunfire lights the night. Men scream. Engines roar. Steel meets bone. Blood hits the ground. It should feel like every other night I've fought. It doesn't. Because every bullet fired is one that could have found her. Every second lost is one she's waiting in the dark, wondering if I'm coming back. I burn through them. Precision, speed, violence, honed into art. When the last body falls, Luca sprints toward me. "You good?" he demands. "Yes." "Then go to her," he says, "before she tears the safe room apart." I don't need to be told twice.
Isabella. The safe room feels smaller the longer I'm in it. I pace. I press my ear to the door. I stare at the monitors. I pray. When the last red indicator on the screen goes dark, enemy down, a sob tears out of me. The lock clicks. The door opens. Damien stands there, breathing hard, shirt torn, blood on his knuckles. Alive. I don't think. I run. I crash into him so hard he grunts, arms instantly locking around me. "You're safe," he murmurs, burying his face in my hair. "I'm here." I clutch him, shaking. I thought. "I know," he whispers. "I know." He lifts me off the ground, carrying me into the room, kicking the door shut behind him. His hands tremble on my back, not with fear, with restraint. "Damien." I breathe. He sets me down but doesn't let go. His forehead drops to mine. "I can't lose you," he says. "You didn't. You don't understand," he growls softly. "If they'd taken you, they didn't," I whisper. "I'm here." "Yes." His lips brush my cheekbone. "You are." My hands slide up his chest. "Damien!" His gaze snaps to mine. Something in him breaks. He kisses me slow and devastating and full of everything he hasn't said. I melt into him. Heat, want, relief, something too deep to name. He lifts me, sits me on the edge of the safe room desk, his body between my knees. His hands slide up my sides, not rushing, just feeling, like he's memorizing proof of life. I kiss him back with everything that almost died tonight. When he pulls away, breath ragged, he rests his hand on the side of my neck. "Isabella," he murmurs, "this is the part where you run. I'm tired of running. You should run from me." "I won't." He closes his eyes, pained. "Then I'll ruin you." "You already have." His eyes open hot, dark, destroyed, and then he whispers something like a confession. Say, you're mine. My heart slams. I can't, I whisper. He nods once, slow, accepting the blow. Because you killed him, I breathe. His jaw tightens, and because... My voice falters. I don't want to give you something I can't take back. Silence. He steps back not far, but far enough. His voice drops to a low, wounded growl. Then say this, Isabella. You want me. I swallow hard. I shouldn't, but I do. I want you, I whisper. Something savage and soft flashes in his eyes. But I'm not yours, I add gently. No, he agrees, voice breaking on the word. Not yet. He takes my hand, lifts it to his lips, kisses the inside of my wrist, slow, reverent, possessive. Then I'll wait, he murmurs. And I've never waited for anything in my life. My breath catches. Damien. He leans close, mouth brushing my ear. When you're ready, he whispers. I'll be the man you choose, not the man you fear. And when that day comes, his voice drops to darkness and silk. I'll kiss you, like this time we have, all the time in the world. A shiver runs through me. He steps back, giving me space, not forcing, not taking, just waiting. I smooth my shaking palms along my knees. What happens now? I ask quietly. He exhales, slowly. Now, he offers me his hand. You come out of the dark. I slip my hand into his. He closes his fingers around mine, gentle this time, not claiming. And together, we walk out of the safe room into a house that still smells of smoke and danger and survival. I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I don't know how to love a man who killed for me, but I know this. I am no longer the widow who was owned. I am the woman a dangerous man crossed empires to protect, and maybe someday I will be the woman he crossed himself for.